Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have the night hag. The night hag is a creature that comes from Brazil. She's a tall, skinny woman with yellow fingernails, white hair, green teeth, red eyes, and an evil laugh. She creeps across rooftops and watches families while they're inside of their homes. She watches the family eat and waits until one of them happens to go to sleep with a stomach full of food. She waits until you're asleep, which is her moment to strike. She will sneak into your bedroom and sit upon your chest so that you are unable to move. She then sits there and waits for her victim to be partly awake but partly asleep and completely unable to move, which is what some of us would call sleep paralysis. She thrives off of that feeling of helplessness that her victim has, knowing that despite their best attempts, they're unable to move or call for help. In our number 9 spot today, we have La Llorona. La Llorona is also known as the Weeping Woman, and her name is actually Maria, and she comes from Mexico. She has long black hair and is known for her greedy heart. When she was alive, the man she loved would not love her back, and the legend says that because of this, she did some very horrible things after. Realizing the terrible things she did in her fit of rage, she ended up throwing herself into the ocean. After her passing, because of her sins, heaven would not allow her in, and instead she was condemned to wander the world in eternal grief. When people see her, she is usually walking, wearing all white and soaking wet. She can be heard yelling out for the ones she killed as she wails, "Oh my children." Legend says that she sometimes snatches children up as she mistakes them for her own. It is said that she can be summoned by going into the bathroom, turning all of the lights out, and splashing water on the mirror before you say her name 3 times. Try if you dare. In our number 8 spot today, we have Hanako-san. This legend comes from Japan during the World War II era, as Hanako-san is the spirit of a girl who apparently sadly passed away in an airstrike during this time. According to the legend, she can be summoned by entering the girl's bathroom on the 3rd floor of the building. Once you get into the 3rd stall, you have to knock 3 times and call her name. Once you complete this, when you open the stall door, she'll be there waiting for you. She has a bob haircut and wears a red skirt, and despite her adorable appearance, she is there to grab you and drag you to hell through the toilet. Sometimes though, when opening the stall door, you might instead be encountered with a 3-headed lizard who will explain that you are invading Hanako-san's privacy, and then it will devour you. Regardless of if you get the real girl or the lizard, the legend has scared children in schools for years. In our number 7 spot today, we have Hasi Hateri. The story of this creepy being comes from the Guarani traditions in Paraguay. Hasi is often represented as a naked, beautiful, golden-haired little goblin with a straw hat and a golden staff in which his magical powers reside. It is said that he likes to walk around during nap time, and he has a whistle which sounds a lot like a bird. He likes to whistle in order to attract all of the children who should be napping but aren't. He then takes these children away to the mountains where he keeps them for a little while. If he doesn't like a child, he will throw them into the river, but if he doesn't mind them, then he will later abandon them, but not before he kisses or licks their head, which is said to leave the child foolish. There are, however, some versions of this tale that suggest he scoops out the eyes of the child before leaving them. One good thing to know about him, however, is that if you encounter him without his golden staff, he is powerless, so all you have to do is take it from him. In our number 6 spot today, we have the Banshee. The Banshee is Ireland's most well-known dark spirit that roams around the countryside, wailing whenever death is near. The good news about this one is that she does not cause death, but rather her presence is the foreshadow to the arrival of death. She often appears as a woman with long flowing hair, wearing a green dress with a grey cloak over top, and with eyes that are red from her continuous weeping. There are some, however, who have said she appeared as an old woman with dirty, rotting teeth and long fingernails. There is just not one Banshee, however, so it makes sense that there are different appearances. Not all Banshees are evil or hate-filled. There are some who just have strong ties to their family and a desire to continue looking over them. The evil ones, however, are wailing as a form of celebrating the death that is about to come. It is said that the wailing of a Banshee may only be able to be heard by the person for whom it is intended. So if you hear this call, I truly hope you have one of the good ones. In our number 5 spot today, we have the chupacabra. The chupacabra comes from Puerto Rico, and the story first originated in 1995 when the very first sightings occurred. This demon appears in the form of a creepy sort of animal that some would liken to a dog, but others describe it as being more lizard or even alien-like. The signature of this horrifying creature is its vampirism, as it likes to drain the blood of livestock, especially goats. It is said to have a forked tongue and large eyes with spikes on its back from the neck to the tip of its tail. It is said that he drinks the blood through 3 holes which he punctures in the shape of a triangle on the animal's neck. It is said, however, that they are afraid of water and that they don't know how to swim, so if you are ever to encounter one, you can use that to your advantage. In our number 4 spot today, we have Teka Teka. Before I dive into this one, guys, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying the video so far. This is another one that comes to us from Japan, and this legend starts off with a girl who was apparently cut in half by a train. This is why this vengeful spirit now appears with no lower body and instead travels on either her hands or her elbows, dragging her upper torso and making a scratching sound. If she encounters a person at night, which is when she is out lurking around, she will chase them down and cut them in half with a scythe to mimic her own death. She is out for blood and is usually found around train stations. It is super interesting that her weapon of choice is the same as the Grim Reaper's, which makes me wonder if there's some sort of connection there, or if this is simply just a creepy and deadly coincidence. In our number 3 spot today, we have a seal. A seal is a little different than the other demons and creatures on today's list, as this one comes straight from demonology. He is one of the electors of hell and is monitored by the archangel Raphael. A seal is one of the 7 planetary demons, as he is the demon of Saturn. He dwells in the bowels of earth and can be summoned by being invoked 3 times, but he will only appear in a magical circle that has been prepared specifically for him. His appearance is basically that of a tall, buff demon with reddish-brown skin. He has 4 horns on each side of his head and has creepy yellow eyes. He does have a human form in which he appears as a handsome man, but only stands around 3 feet tall in this form. He believes in the superiority of demons to ordinary beings, and he holds a lot of anger towards any kind of deity. He does have the power to make those who summon him rich, and the good news is that he doesn't have a lot of disdain for humans, but the catch is as long as you don't worship any kind of god. A seal shows great respect for both Lilith and Lucifer, as he believes that the gods don't do anything other than sit and watch as people struggle and sin. So I guess with him, as long as you are not a god, you're probably safe, but I wouldn't risk summoning him just in case. In our number 2 spot today, we have the Popo Bawa. This evil creature is found stalking the Tanzanian island of Pemba and is one of the most creepy beings that has the ability to shapeshift. Sometimes seen as a bat and sometimes seen in a human form, the creature prefers to come out at night, and anyone is a target, although he definitely prefers men. The legend of the Popo Bawa has had people on the island scared since the origins of the story, especially a few years ago when there was a string of attacks on men in the area which were being tied to this demon. The important part of this one is that those who encounter the evil creature must tell others and spread the word. If they fail to do this, the Popo Bawa will continue to attack, and we know that that is not a good thing. During times when people are worried about being attacked by this creature, many people can be seen sitting outside of their homes at night, often huddled around an open fire with friends and family, as when people are in their homes sleeping is when the creature most likes to attack. In our number 1 spot today, we have La Ciguapa. The legend of La Ciguapa comes from the Dominican Republic, and they are a group of small, feral women who inhabit the mountain areas. They wait in the shadows, lurking around, waiting to capture lonely men. They have extremely long hair that covers their small, thin bodies, and they also have dark blue skin and backwards feet. They are nocturnal creatures, and because of their feet, it is hard to track exactly which way they are going if you're trying to track their footprints. Not only do they capture the men in order to take their lives, but it's said if you look one in the eye, you'll be bewitched. The legend says that the only way to defeat one of these creatures is to capture them by tracking them at night, during a full moon, and with a black and white dog with an extra toe. That's definitely one of the most specific things I've ever heard, but that is what the legend says, and I'm not trying to take any chances here.
At number 10, we have the terrifying Zozo demon that has been haunting millions of Ouija boards. Zozo is a demonic force from the spirit world. You wouldn't want to mess with this, and you know what? These are the reasons why you shouldn't play the Ouija board. If you summon Zozo, he will start making demands, and he will drag your firstborn son down to hell. Zozo has also been known to stalk, harass, and torment your whole family. Throughout time, Zozo is known to wreak havoc. Zozo is a mysterious trickster entity that is known to come in different forms, so even if you think you're talking to someone else on the Ouija board, it could be very likely you're talking to Zozo, and it's time to shut the game down. Make sure you guys close out the game properly, and I would then burn it. The Night Demon is up next at number 9. Let's talk about the evil creature that stalks the Tanzanian island of Pemba in the Indian Ocean. We're talking about the Popo Bawa. There's gonna be times you don't even know if you're face to face with the Night Demon, and that's because it can shapeshift. It can change into humans. Well, the question is, does it have to kill the human first to be able to change into them? Well, the demon first appeared back in 1965, and since then, there has been many reported sightings. Next up, number 8, we have this.
What is it? What is it, Steven? What is it?
Okay, whoa, is this real life right now? I had to stop that part quickly. I mean, what the heck is going on? What is coming out of this guy's mouth? Well, this was a scene from Poltergeist 2. I guess I've never seen this scene before because I'm way too afraid. Well, let me fast forward a little bit for you guys. Okay, so that has to be absolutely the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. Now, that's one demon I wouldn't want to come face to face with. I mean, I would be freaking out if something that scary was coming out of my mouth. How long was that thing brewing inside of him for? And when that demon alien creature came out, it grew pretty quickly. Well, let me show you guys how big this demon actually got. Okay, pretty sure that image is gonna be in my nightmares tonight, and tomorrow night, and the day after that. Okay, haunting us next up at number 7, we have Pazuzu, which is the demon from The Exorcist. Well, as it turns out, Pazuzu isn't just found in the movies. Apparently this demon is the real deal. He is known to be the king of the demons who brings on severe storms and droughts, which can cause some pretty horrific famines. And if you've seen The Exorcist, then you know that this demon is extremely evil, and he's capable of basically ruining your entire life. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I would never want to find myself in the same predicament as a Regan.
Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with the Father and the Holy Spirit. Damien!
Okay, so next up, number 6, we have the Evil Dead demon known as the Kandarian demon. If you ever find yourself face to face with this demon, well, consider your life officially over because you don't stand a chance next to this evil thing, this evil presence. Basically, this demon has the ability to turn almost anything into a spirit that wants to possess a body and feast on the souls of living creatures. But that's not all. The Kandarian demon can also fly several feet into the air, and it can't be physically harmed. So if I were you, I would stand far away from the Necronom icon just to be on the safe side. I mean, this could be your future. Number 5, we're talking about the lipstick face demon from Insidious. Despite the fact that he literally looks like Darth Maul from Star Wars, he still scares the crap out of me. So I think Darth Maul is a scary character from Star Wars. Well, you're gonna want to practice saying your Hail Marys if you somehow come face to face with this demon, because his main objective in life is to bring pain and chaos to the world by possessing humans. And he will stop at nothing to achieve this. When he's not killing and destroying people's lives, well, he's enjoying sharpening his nails to some creepy music. Take a look at this. Taking a turn for the worst, and at number 4, we have the Lamia demon from Drag Me to Hell. I know what you guys are thinking. This movie was absolutely cringy and really hard to watch, but if you take the demon out of the picture and just analyze it, this demon was actually pretty terrifying. Okay, think about it for a second. Lamia will viciously torment her victims for 3 full days before opening up a portal and dragging them into the fiery pits of hell. This is where the demon's victims will spend eternity suffering from an agonizing pain. The Lamia literally takes pleasure in hunting down human souls and bringing them to hell. Well, this definitely doesn't sound like a demon that I would want to invite into my house. In fact, I don't know any demon that I would want to invite into my house or summon on a Ouija board. Okay, moving things right along, number 3 we have Jikininki, which is also known as the human-eating ghost demon. The Jikininki are said to be the spirits of greedy, selfish people who are cursed after death. They will stop at nothing to hunt down victims and eat their corpses. They apparently look like decomposing cadavers that have sharp claws and glowing eyes. It's believed that if you were to see them in real life, you will most likely die from fear. Now at number 2 we have the demon from Annabelle. It's the demon from the intro of this video. Well, take a look at what this thing looks like. It's absolutely horrifying. I can't believe I was able to watch this movie. I don't know what I would do if I saw this creature in real life. This demon doesn't have any kind of mercy or remorse. It often toys with its victims before attempting to kill them. So if you were to come face to face with this demon, this might actually be the last image of life you ever see. I mean, that sucks. And finally, number 1, we have the Pisadera demon from parts of Brazil. Well, this demon, well, she's a female demon that looks like this. It looks like she only goes after you when you're sleeping. Well, actually in the pictures that you're seeing, the people aren't sleeping. Pisaderia has put these people into a trance. They are paralyzed. Pisaderia is usually described as a very thin woman with long dry fingers. She also has really big, dirty, yellowish nails. If you look into her eyes, which I have no idea why you would ever choose to do that, well, you would see fire in her eyes. Pisaderia usually appears when you go to sleep on a full stomach and also when you sleep on your back. So you know what? You guys have been warned. She is literally capable of killing you while you are watching the whole thing unfold. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I'm thinking, I'm never eating again or sleeping on my back because that is terrifying.
Starting us off with number 10 is the ultrasound. Now this one shocked me. Like, I know parents get really emotional when they're looking at their baby's ultrasound, but I don't know how I could summon up any feeling of maternal or paternal love when looking at this ultrasound. And I mean that in the least savage way possible, I assure you. So in September of this year, Virginia local 17-year-old Ayana Carrington went into her ultrasound hoping to find out the gender of her baby. But when the technician looked at the screen, a demonic baby was looking right back at her. Like, I don't even know how that ultrasound looks like a fetus. It looks like a little garden imp. But the mum took it in stride, joking about how she couldn't wait to meet her demon baby. And of course, I don't mean any disrespect to the baby or her mum, but admittedly, the ultrasound was creepy as hell. I'm not gonna lie. Coming in at number 9 is the Razor Experience. Back in 2016, 28-year-old Utah-based Suzanne Connors gave birth to an entity who she immediately made the sign of the crossover and cast it out for adoption. Suzanne claimed her entire pregnancy felt like she was being cut with razors from the inside and that she wanted absolutely no part of raising the Antichrist. The doctor that did her C-section claimed Suzanne's amniotic sac and uterus was completely ripped to shreds. Bruh. All that disrespect after she carried your for 9 months and you do that to her? The disrespect. Put some respect on Suzanne's name, okay? Over it. At number 8 we have the Demon Child. Now this one centers on a baby that at 4 weeks old could walk by himself and apparently produce fire. The boy's mom, Colombia-based Ana Faria Santos, claims he cackles like an adult for hours at a time, hides around the house, and has a really intimidating set of eyes. The family's neighbors are so scared of the boy they've started throwing stones at their house, which if you remember is exactly what happened to Naomi Watts in The Ring 2 after her son got like royally screwed and possessed. It's the same thing. The Ring 2 is happening in real life. Filling at number 7 slot is the Mix-Up. Joan of the Angels is most famous for being seduced and impregnated by a demon disguised as a priest who was disguised as an angel. Keep up, please. Please keep up. Now this one took a turn for the worse when Urbain Grandier became a priest in France, and this man was a proper womanizer. Joan became obsessed with Urbain, claiming he was the devil, and he appeared to her as a radiant being. But screw Urbain, she said Isacharon, the demon of debauchery, got her pregnant, and this seemed true since during her pregnancy she would always be screaming and convulsing and talking in tongues. And a bunch of nuns joined her in her accusations against Urbain after that, so I mean, was he an angel? Was he a demon? Was he a priest? Or was he just a player? Now at number 6 is the sinful conception. Now you may not know who Jane Addams was, but she was quite big in Chicago back in the late 1800s. She was the one that actually opened Hull House, which is a place where impoverished immigrants can share, and a place for single working women to stay safe. Now the story goes that apparently there was a devil baby in the house that had pointy ears, cloven hooves, and could speak perfectly despite being an infant. It knew how to curse and use profanity and would insult anyone who came to visit it. Apparently Addams was sinful during the child's conception, and that's why everyone attributed the baby to the devil. Maybe it just looked a little weird. We don't have to be mean. Coming in at number 5 is the Overlooker. So this ultrasound was taken back in June of 2015 and was then shared to Reddit and Imgur by the mother's friend. The baby in the womb looks very normal and undemon-like, but if you look in the bottom right hand side of the scan, you can see a black figure. Now it looks quite ominous. It has 2 horns coming out of its head, and I mean, we all know what other entity has always been depicted as having 2 horns. The devil, Satan himself. He's watching this little baby grow. At number 4 is the New Jersey Devil. So this is apparently a very popular American story, so I'm very surprised I hadn't heard of it beforehand, given how many top 10s I've done, but here we are. Guess you learn something new every day. Back in the mid 1700s in Pine Barrens, New Jersey, Deborah Leeds and her husband Japhet had 12 kids together, and she became pregnant with their 13th. By that point she was so done having kids that she was not happy about the 13th at all, and girl, I feel you, 12? I'm gonna max out at 3, I'm tapping out at 3. Anyway, on the night she gave birth, there are many accounts of what actually happened. One is that Deborah thought the baby was a demon since the number 13 was cursed. Another version claims she invoked the devil during the delivery, and so she cursed the child herself. But the most popular story was that the baby was born deformed, and she took care of it till she died, after which it flew into the swamps. Just flew into the swamps. And people in New Jersey have apparently seen this devil too, so I mean, it's kind of an urban legend if you ask me. And New Jersey, evidently. Filling our number 3 slot is Satan Jr. So back in 2014, Satanist Isabella Miroslav claims Satan himself impregnated her. That's quite a statement, buddy. Apparently, one night when she's doing her nighttime prayers to the Prince of Darkness, he manifested in front of her. He asked her to take her clothes off and then bred her, and apparently he told her that she was going to raise his son, and once he turned 12, he would not only be the president of the US and create a one world government, he'd also get everybody's souls and weaken Jesus' powers when he finally returned. Like, that's a lot of pressure to put on an unborn fetus. That is most likely not Satan's. Just saying. Unpopular opinion, that's a hot take. Now at number 2 is I Don't Even Know. This one was shared by Alice Lieberman on Imgur, and it's an ultrasound from 1983. This really reminds me of those blotches of paint you see in a psychiatrist's office in the movies where they always ask you to interpret what it is, and that reflects your inner psyche. Either way, I don't even know what I see in this scan. It's like a huge zoomed in demon's skull, if you can see it, and the baby in the uterus is making them look like 2 eye sockets. I hope you guys can see that. The lining at the bottom is like the teeth of it, and the other problematic part is the baby itself, like it looks like a woodpecker. So I feel like there's just so much going on in this picture, but to me it looks like a demon skull. Let me know what it looks like to you guys. I would love to know. And finally, at number 1 is the demonic cat. So this one happened way back in 1569 to a woman called Agnes Bowker who lived in Leicestershire. Now Agnes was the daughter of a butcher and worked as a servant on some estate. She would have probably stayed irrelevant throughout history, but the events that unfolded on the 17th of January changed everything. Word got around that Agnes had apparently given birth to some demonic cat despite not being married and, well, the fact she was a virgin. Locals were terrified that it was a demonic abomination sent from hell or a sign of an upcoming catastrophe. She claimed a thing came unto her as she was in bed and lay on her heavily but didn't touch her. The next day it came back again but in the likeness of a black cat, and the midwife who delivered the baby said it pricked her with its claws while still in the womb. No one saw the baby being delivered, but when they walked back into the room, the thing was just on the floor near Agnes's feet. Did they leave it there? Did she raise it? What the hell was it?